You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me. Hurt my feelings.
Welcome back to another episode of Trending Fantasy. I'm John Bauer, 5manX at the Bauer Club. You know I'm joined by Mitch Sorensen at Dino MC. Mitch, we are getting so close to the actual regular season. We're going to have our fantasy matchups. It's almost there. There. So we have 2 episodes left this offseason of Trending Fantasy. And tonight we're going to spend some time talking about the hot running back market. Some of these guys that are just being traded left and right. Go over to dynastydaddy.com. Check out the trade database. These guys are, again, being traded constantly. So if you're wondering about some of these players, where we are on them, we're going to be talking about it tonight. And then you can get some trade ideas over at Dynasty Daddy and check out ddfantasyfootball.com. Use code Theory. Make sure you check out the War Machine, the Trinity Tool, my cross-positional tiers. Get in the Discord community. It's fantastic. And make sure you hit like on this video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. All right. So, Mitch, some guys we want to talk about tonight. And 2 of them, they play on the same team. But Breece Hall and Braelon Allen, these are 2 guys that their values they're not super close together yet, but that gap is starting to close a little bit. So Breece Hall, where are you on Breece Hall? I had the question pop up today in the Discord. Somebody said, JB, have you lowered Breece Hall in your tiers? And I said, not yet, but I know the market has, and I probably should adjust a little bit. So Breece Hall, he's fantasy calc running back 14, 55th overall. Contract expires at the end of the 2025 season. How are you viewing him as a dynasty asset?
For me, I still feel like he's a really good running back. You know, he averages 250 touches a year. The last 2 years, he averages 66 catches a year. And now, but that's kind of where it goes into it. I think a lot of it with Breece Hall is the social media post, to where the Jets do something, so he throws out like an eye emoji, or someone else gets paid, and so he throws up a post with like a bag of money or whatever, which is great. It's stuff that we don't really see a lot and we're not used to. So I think everyone really starts to read in it, and everyone has to have a tweet about everything now. We know this. Like, you have to be the first one to tweet about all this. So they're like, oh, he's out. Or like, maybe he's just like, yeah, dude, that dude got the bag. You know, maybe there isn't that much into it. Sorry about that. I had a cough for a second. And then you also look at it and everyone's like, well, hey, Aaron Glenn was in Detroit and he uses 2 running backs. And I am going to do my damnedest not to put my Braelon Allen takes into my Breece Hall takes, because, you know, it's going to happen. I'm going to do my best. Yes, that's where he came from, but that doesn't mean that's where it's going to have to be. And we could assume that's how it is. He could even say that's how it is. We really don't know, because he isn't the one calling offensive plays. He's a defensive coordinator that's going to let someone else call the plays. So, in my opinion, is Breece Hall a good running back? Yes. Does he get injured a little bit? Yes. And so that's kind of where the drawback is, to where I think running back 14 is completely fine, because there's a lot of guys behind him I wouldn't take over him, and there's guys above him that I definitely wouldn't take. So I think where he's valued out right now is completely fine. And you're telling me that he's going to be 26 next year, free agent. There's so many teams that we bring up with all this Brian Robinson talk, where he's getting traded. I mean, we're bringing up 5 or 6 teams who need immediately running back help. And so you're telling me Breece Hall is going to be on the open market next year? That's great for me. That's not scaring me away from Breece Hall at all. He's getting away from that Jet situation. That should make him more valuable, in my opinion. If you're like, hey, he's not going to get franchised, he's off that team, going to be on a new team with a set deal, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I think as we talk through this, and as I've had time to kind of digest everything with Breece Hall, there is the concern with the way the offense is going to look. And we spent a lot of time talking about Garrett Wilson on this week's episode of Dynasty Theory, but that offense, it's being ripped apart by analysts and the media, and really wondering what this team is going to do in 2025. And Breece Hall, he's going to be one of those guys. He's averaged 8 touchdowns per game over the last 2 seasons. It looks like in Vegas, the under is, I think it was 5.5 was the over under on his touchdowns. So people think that offense is not going to be that productive. There's not going to be that many opportunities to find the end zone. And how much is Breece Hall going to be utilized in the receiving game? But then it's like, well, he might be losing first and second down work to Braelon Allen. How is that going to impact things? So when we look at some Breece Hall trades, it's kind of a wide gap, as we typically see whenever values are changing quickly. But I do think that 14 price tag, running back 14, is fair. And I do need to bump him down, because would I take him above Chase Brown, who scores more points in the next 2 years?
Yeah.
Is he a better asset than James Cook, Josh Jacobs, Christian McCaffrey at this point? Like you said, I love Breece Hall, but I don't think the answer to that question is yes. And then you look at the guys that he's tiered with, that I have him tiered with right now, Bucky Irving, Jonathan Taylor, Kyron Williams, they're all going to outscore Breece Hall this year.
Yes.
And when we're looking at the running back market and the way things go, maybe look at it from a 2-year window perspective. But yeah, I do need to lower Breece Hall a tier, and I'll have him in that 53 to 62 tier overall. And then with those running backs, the James Cook, Jacobs, McCaffrey, Chase Brown that I previously mentioned. Now, there's one that I can't get behind. Derrick Henry, 1 spot ahead of Breece Hall. I still can't get behind that.
If you're a win now team, I get it. I mean, because Derrick Henry's probably going to score another 20 touchdowns this year if he's healthy. So I get that. If you're on a contender, it's the Christian McCaffrey thing, right? Like, Christian McCaffrey's either going to be really good or he's going to kill your fantasy team because you put too much value in him. I don't think there's really an in-between there. He's not going to go out there and be an okay running back. Christian McCaffrey is either going to be Christian McCaffrey of 3 years ago, or he's going to be last year. And so that's kind of what Derrick Henry is. Derrick Henry's going to be very good for your team, or it's going to be very, very bad. And Breece Hall could be anything with that offense. He could be, a negative starter in your offense. He could be a plus starter in your offense. So kind of everything's there.
Yeah. I'm hoping that offense is a little bit more efficient, and I'm hoping that Braelon Allen doesn't steal too much work. Is Braelon Allen, I feel like he has to be seen as one of the better, I'll call him handcuff, but better running back 2s in an offense, because of the potential if Breece Hall were to miss time. But then I think, as we're talking through this, Braelon Allen's really not going to get that much work in the passing game. And if Breece Hall's not going to get that many opportunities inside the 5, inside the 10, how is Braelon Allen? So maybe I'm talking myself out. I would still take any second over Braelon Allen. Is that fair?
Agreed. So here's the thing. I dove into these because Dan brought up Braelon Allen last week on Dynasty Theory as one of his guys. And I'm like, I kind of get it. And then I really dove into the stats. So what you usually see with these backup running backs is they're very efficient compared to the starter in front of them. It's how it happens. Here's the thing. Braelon Allen, I'm sure there's stats out there. Someone could throw it in the chat, but Breece Hall is better than him in almost every efficiency category there is. Braelon Allen really wasn't better than him in anything. I mean, if you just look at the long runs, Braelon Allen had one 10-yard run last year. No 20-yard runs, no 30-yard runs, no 40-yard runs. And so it's like, well, maybe it was just lack of opportunity. Isaiah Davis had more on the same team with a third less amount of touches. And so I understand the Braelon Allen thing. I understood it in July because it's like, well, hey, if they do trade Breece Hall, then all of a sudden, Braelon Allen's going to get in that role and it's going to be awesome. If they don't trade Breece Hall, Braelon Allen is not going to walk. He isn't Chase Brown. He isn't going to walk into the season next year as the Jets starter. It's not going to happen. So your one out, in my opinion, with Braelon Allen is Breece Hall gets injured, and maybe that happens. Breece Hall gets traded. Besides that, if you're spending a second round pick on Braelon Allen, I think you're crazy. This offense just isn't good enough to want to buy into a backup running back who might be good at some point during the season.
Yeah, I think if we are knocking Breece Hall for a lot of these things, the way the offense is going to look, the opportunities, I think we need to be looking at it from Braelon Allen standpoint as well. So as I start, like, again, I said it on Dynasty Theory, but that's why I love these conversations, because we get to talk through this. And I started off that sentence with, is Braelon Allen one of the best handcuffs or running back twos? And I still think he's a very good running back too. But if I'm choosing straight up between him and Zach Charbonnet, it's Zach Charbonnet. Even him and Jalen Warren, I think I would lean Jalen Warren straight up. So those are two guys that we are seeing in so many trades. So we gave our price point for Breece. We gave our price point for Braelon Allen. Now, no, we don't want to talk about Isaiah Davis. We don't want to stick with three running backs in the same backfield. Tony Pollard, Tyjae Spears, he has the ankle injury, and as a result, Tony Pollard, his trade volume is picking up. Where are you on Tony Pollard? Do you see this as a great opportunity for production, or are you on the other side of it where, hey, now it might be an opportunity to move Pollard off of some of these rosters?
Yeah, I mean, this one is just so team dependent for me because, I mean, he had 300 touches on an awful offense last year. He's 28 this year, but I think he's going to produce to a point to where if I'm on a contender, I'm not looking to move him because I think he's definitely going to help my team. But also as a rebuild, someone, maybe just a mid-tier team, he's a 28-year-old running back on an offense that I don't think is going to be fantastic yet. I think Cam Ward is going to be a good pro. I don't know how well he's going to score, how well he's going to be able to lead that offense this whole season. And so, in my opinion, Tony Pollard is definitely one of those guys to where if I don't think I'm a very good competing team, I want to move him for early second round value. And if I'm a contender, I'm more than happy just to keep him on my team, even if someone is willing to give me an early second for him.
Tony Pollard is one of those backs where, like, I have him in green on the sheets. Mm-hmm. I am okay investing in him at his price. So going through some of these trades, 12 team start 10 full PPR, Tony Pollard at a 26 second. Is that the team dependent?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. I mean, just if I had to say it, I would say Tony Pollard because I'm just hoping I'm contending. But if I'm not, I'll take that 26 second.
Tony Pollard or Chris Godwin?
Oof, Chris Godwin. That one's tough, though.
I think that's a fair price point. Tony Pollard or 27 second, very similar to the 26 conversation. Yeah. Tony Pollard in a third or 2 seconds?
2 seconds.
Okay. Tony Pollard in a 26 first or Derrick Henry and Brenton Strange?
I want the 26 first. Yeah.
And that's an extra half point for tight ends.
Yeah. Yeah. Brenton Strange is nothing.
So this is the way I would like to do it. Obviously, if you could do something cross-positionally, like I think that Chris Godwin one is very fair because we don't know how things are going to shake out with him coming back. And assuming you're a contender, well, start to raise the red flag there a little bit with Chris Godwin. The second, I think, is a fair price point. You don't need to go to 2 seconds. I would love to split up a running back to get Pollard plus a first, like that Derrick Henry one. I think that was great. I would do it for Chuba Hubbard. I would do it for... Would you do Breece Hall for Tony Pollard in a 27 first?
Yes. Yeah, you give me that 27 first all day.
What if it was a 26 first?
Yeah, same. I prefer the 27, but I'll take 26.
So that's where I think I am too, kind of like that Breece Hall, Josh Jacobs, Kenneth Walker territory, or Tony Pollard in that first. And then if I could package up for Pollard, like could I do a Braelon Allen in a third for Tony Pollard? I think that could get done in some spots.
I think it could. Yeah.
Just looking through some of the trades here, a lot for that 26 price point. So if you're a team that is maybe a little heavier with producing wide receivers, you're looking for a running back, maybe you had a Brian Robinson and you were like, hey, I'm hoping he can be productive. Well, when this comes out on Thursday, we'll see how that goes, where he lands, or if he's still in Washington. Or maybe you're rethinking your Breece Hall situation. You're like, hey, maybe I can get a Tony Pollard. I think he's in store for a decent season considering his price point. So Breece Hall, Braelon Allen, Tony Pollard. This next one, so many trades. Kenneth Walker. He's in a great situation from a scheme perspective. I think he can be used correctly. And the way he's going to be utilized, but he's already dinged up. So with Kenneth Walker, how are you viewing him? Would you have him tiered with James Cook, Josh Jacobs, Breece Hall, Chase Brown, or do I need to move Kenneth Walker down a tier?
For me, for anyone who hasn't listened for years, I've always been a Kenneth Walker guy. I love him. But the fact is, he only averages 12 games a season. But he is 25 years old. The one thing that you can really talk yourself into is last year he did start catching the ball more. He caught 50 balls last year. And then I kind of brought this up on Dynasty Theory. Sorry, their show dropped Monday night live. Make sure you go check it out. I talked about how Travion Henderson, if he gets about 200 touches, right? And that's kind of where Kenneth Walker was last year. He had 200 touches and he caught 46 balls for 300 yards. 19 of those went for first downs. It's awesome. But he also only ran for 500 yards, but he had 7 touchdowns. So it's great. But at this point, even being as big as a fan as I am, I can't look at him as, hey, I'm going to get 14, 15 games out of him. And so he's already injured. Let's say he comes back. What happens if he gets injured at the end of the year? Then all of a sudden you don't have those points again. And I don't think Kenneth Walker is a guy you could be like, you know what, in November, I can really count on this guy. So if you're doing redraft, underdog, any of that stuff, I'd be completely out on Kenneth Walker because I don't think he gives you enough league winning upside to play off of that. In Dynasty, the one thing you have is he's young. But if he has another injury-ridden year, you're never going to get that value out of him again. So for me, I have a really, really hard time buying into him at that price because I don't know how much of an upside's there because even when he's good, you hear, oh, well, Zach Charbonnet. Oh, well, Zach Charbonnet. I mean, it doesn't matter how good Kenneth Walker is. The Dynasty community just doesn't love him that much.
Well, as we're having this conversation, I did move him down a tier. Let's see some of the trades. 12 teams start 10 full PPR. Kenneth Walker or Josh Downs, a 27 second and a 26 third.
I'm not a huge Downs guy. I will take Kenneth Walker there, but I think that's good value for him.
Kenneth Walker and Ollie Gordon or Matthew Golden and Cedric Tillman.
Now give me the running backs.
Okay. Kenneth Walker, 27 first.
27 first.
I agree with that. Tony Pollard and Kenneth Walker or Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson.
Let me see here. James Cook and Kenneth Walker or Saquon Barkley in a 27 second.
Saquon Barkley.
I would go Saquon there as well. So when we're looking at all of these trades and we're looking at these running backs, their price points, let's stick with the 3 higher value ones in Kenneth Walker, Breece Hall, and Tony Pollard, higher value. I use air quotes for that. Rank them in order of who you prefer at their respective values for your fantasy team, for your Dynasty fantasy team.
Okay. At their value, I'm going Breece for the reasons that I stated at the first of the show. And then I will go Pollard based off price and then Walker.
I think I can agree with that. You know what? I would put Tony Pollard first. Again, I'm not saying
I could completely see that too. Yeah.
I would go Pollard, Hall, Walker. Again, at their respective price who I feel most comfortable investing in. And again, there were so many trades involving these guys because there were changing situations, or, the talking heads are out there having these conversations and talking about the Jets especially. But Kenneth Walker dinged up, Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears dinged up a little bit. So it creates a market, and it creates people that are willing to buy and sell. Mitch, anything else on these running backs here? The market is hot. People are looking to move them. Any sage advice?
I think there's a lot of backs to buy. I think that's the one thing compared to previous years, to where I think previous years you only had probably 10 to 15 running backs that I really felt confident in. But there's so many running backs by committee now, but there's so many good backs that are coming into the NFL. I mean, this rookie class, I think, is really, really going to help it. So if you can't get one of these guys, like let's say, hey, we talked to you into Breece Hall, and you can't end up just finding the trade that works for him, go for Chuba Hubbard. I love Chuba Hubbard just as much. Chase Brown, love Chase Brown. And so there's a lot of guys that I'm willing to have on my team now. Like I said, compared to previous seasons, there wasn't that many.
Yeah, once you get outside of the tippy top, you're starting to see more and more, and this has been a conversation we've been having for how long now, about more and more committees. But even guys we love, RJ Harvey, J.K. Dobbins, probably not going anywhere. Caleb Johnson, Jalen Warren, not going anywhere. There are so few bell cow backs. And then when you start to incorporate age, like, yes, Derrick Henry is a bell cow, but he's 31 years old. So hopefully you enjoyed this week's episode of Trending Fantasy. Like I said, we have one more episode after this, and then Mitch and I will be doing the Start Sit Show, I believe, on Sunday mornings on the YouTube channel. Still doing Dynasty Theory on a weekly basis. That's going to be moving to Tuesday nights live. Nobody wants to tune in during Monday Night Football. I get it. Dan doesn't even want to join us during Monday Night Football. So the schedule will be changing, but you're still going to be stuck with us twice a week. But again, hopefully you enjoy this week's episode. Let us know if there's any topics you want us to discuss on next week's episode. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and check out ddfantasyfootball.com. For Mitch Sorensen, I'm John Bauer. We'll catch everybody next week. Peace.